Hello, my dear learners, you're most welcome. This is Education Online. I am teacher Lunya Agnes Okot, teacher of English language. Today, I'm going to teach my dear Senior 1 and Senior 2. In it, my dear Senior 1 and 2, this lesson, I will continue to teach you about question tags and short responses. We are continuing to look at these question tags and short responses. We are doing this because previously we looked at what a question tag is, and we stated clearly it is this type of question in English that gears towards asking for confirmation or even emphasis. It is not an ordinary question where you look for information. I went ahead to teach you the rules that we use when constructing sentences with question tags and the short responses. We saw very many rules, about 3 major rules, which are developed from one, the person. And we say person in English does not mean the people of a certain area, but it means pronoun or nouns. In this case, we said when it is singular in nature, then the tense or the verb must also appear in singular form. When it is plural, when the person is plural, must also have the plural form of the verb. For instance, when you're using singular, you must also use singular form of verbs like is, does. But when you're using plural form of pronouns or nouns, you use plural forms of verbs like do, are, and so forth. Now, today I want to show you how to put these rules into practice. We are going to use these rules to construct sentences. So you can write our subheading under this one as constructing sentences using question tags. Constructing sentences. Constructing sentences. Sentences using question tags. Question tags. It is the title, so let us cap lock T. Question tags. Right. This is what we are going to look at today. And I want you to be very strict this time. Remember the rules. Recall them and apply them. Let us start with especially rule 1, which talks about pluralization and singular form of persons. Let us start with singular persons, and we see how the verbs should also be singular in nature. Now, 1, singular person. Right. Here also our verbs must be singular in nature. Now we say it singular person, especially the first person. First person is I. When it is second person, you, which is singular. Then when it is now third, there are 3. She, he, and it. These ones are what we call singular in nature. Let us use them in sentences. For instance, I. You can come here and say, I like pork. Yes. in this case, remember also observe the rule of tense plus the persons in this case. And remember, this is already a positive statement. Therefore, our tag must now be negative in nature. So don't come here and say, doesn't I. Don't write this. Don't say, doesn't I. This one is wrong. Why? Because I, though it is singular in nature, does not use do or does. It does not use does. Instead, the form of the word to do is the one which is applicable here. So you will come here and say, don't I, D-O-N-T. Don't I? Then you put your question mark. Now, as I told you previously, the response must now be, you copy from the beginning, positive. It will be yes. Yes is a way of confirming something that I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do is now the response. So you see, right, that is about singular form of I. Observe this one. Then you. I told you clearly that you is just like I. Even if it is singular or plural, you still don't need to use singular form of the verb. Maintain the verb to be plural. For instance, look at this sentence. You are teaching. You are teaching English. Now, in this case, we don't know whether this you is for plural or singular. Even if it is for singular form, one person is the one teaching, still you don't need to come and use the singular form. Observe this one. This is what we call second person, plural and singular, in that way. Now, what is going to be our tag here? This is a positive statement. With observation of this, apply the tag now. Are here, you will maintain it. You will not say, you is teaching English. Or you will not come and say, isn't you? You will come and say, aren't you? Meaning, are you not? Aren't you? Aren't you? Are you not teaching English? Then now our response is going to be borrowed from the beginning here, which is positive in nature. So you will come and say, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Now, let us now look at this she. And where does she fall? Only three, she, he, it. They're in one category called third person singular. And when it is third person singular, all the verbs you will use to form the tag must be singular in nature. This time let us get a negative statement and we see how we will transform into a positive tag and a negative response. I like these two examples where all the statements are positive. So we will come down and say, she enjoyed. She enjoyed the music. She enjoyed the music. Oh, it is still positive statement, but still let us see how we will use she, which is a singular third person in this case. She enjoyed the music. Now the tag must be negative in this way. Now you will come down here and say, isn't she? And because this one is already past, you will not use this isn't she. This one you will condemn it. Isn't she will be wrong. So you will condemn this, and what should you substitute with is? Because enjoy it is already in the past. So it will turn into a past form of this is. She enjoyed the music. Now you will come down and change it into, instead of is, instead of does, you will now put the past of the word does into did. And now since it is negative, you will say didn't. So yours now will be, the correct form will be now, you will ignore all this and come down and say, didn't she? Didn't she? Didn't she? Meaning, did she not in the past? Then you'll come here and say, yes, she did. Yes, she did. Right. That is the way to go. Be very observant in the tense plus the persons, just like in the negative and the positivity of the statement and the tag. Then let us look at yet another one. You can come here and use it. It wasn't hot. Now this one is now a very good example of a negative statement. Our tag is going to be a positive tag and a negative response. Observe now the rule of person here. It is under third person singular, and you will come here and maintain the form of the tense, which is already a past of is. Then you will come and put it positive by saying, was it? Was it? It wasn't. Then you will confirm here by saying, was it? No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. So you see, when you know the rule, you will not suffer in creating any sentence in the question tag. So you should be very careful and follow the rule. Let us create a sentence in the future, in the future form, by saying, here you will come and say, we shall eat pork. We shall eat. Maybe we have overused the word pork. You can just substitute it with any. We shall eat eggs. We shall eat eggs. Eggs. We shall eat eggs. Now this one is a positive statement. Observe we. We falls under second person plural. Therefore, you will maintain the tense here, which is a future, and maintain the form of the verb. This is an auxiliary shall. Therefore, you will come down here and say, shan't we? Shan't we? Meaning, shall we not? But you write it in the short form. Then you can come and put the positive response. Yes, we shall. Yes, we shall. Right, that is it. That's the way to go. Always be very observant in the tense. We have now used present simple, we have used progressive, we have used past tense, and here we are using still past tense, and we have used here future tense, which is in that form of the auxiliary shall. It is helping this main verb to eat. You should pay attention. Be very careful when you are constructing sentences in this way. Right now, I want to write for you some of the wrongly tagged questions, and I want you, together with me, to correct it. So look at some of this, and you will correct it. Look at some of this. Here, I think the people or the person who wrote this one did not observe the rules. But with the rules that I gave you previously and the one that we have done right now, you can be able to correct this one. It. That is one. And if you're not careful, you will tell me, Madam, but they're all correct, but they are not. We are going to correct it together right now. So you can even look at this one. Do he? Do he? Then look at another one here. Doesn't. Let me give you a negative one. Doesn't they? Now look at some of this. They are not correct. I'm going to tell you why they are not, and we will correct them together. Then look at another one here. Aren't we? No, aren't they? Aren't they? So you can see. No, in that case, you will say, aren't she? Aren't she? You can even come and say, didn't. You can still come and create another one as shall we not? So when you put it in that case, it is not correct because you're repeating, you're writing in full. So you should be very careful when you are doing some of this. Then other people say, don't she? They can even say, weren't he? Then they can say, wasn't they? So you can see. Now if you look at all these tags, they are not correctly written. Let us start with the first one and we see where the problem lies. You will be able to see that are is the plural form of is. Now, it, which is being used with are, is the singular form of the third person. Now, you cannot use plural form of the verb with a singular form of the person. Therefore, this one is wrong. You rather say isn't, or you can say is it, If it is negative, you will say isn't. If it is negative, you will come and say isn't it, instead of are it's. Right. Do is the plural form of does. And remember, he is the third person singular. It cannot match with do. Therefore, you will say does he instead of this one. Does he instead of this one. Be very careful. Now, what is the problem with the third one? The third one is that the verb here doesn't is the negative singular form of the word do. Yet we have our pronoun they, which is the plural of third person. Therefore, it cannot work with this. It does not rhyme. You have to change this into do. So it will be don't, because it is in negative. Don't they? Right. Then which rule have we broken here? Still the rule is still in plural and singular. She is singular form of third person. Then ara is plural auxiliary of is. Therefore, it will be isn't she, and here will be, instead of shall we not, it will be shan't. First of all, there are two rules broken here. One is the short form not followed. You don't use this, but you write the short form of the auxiliary. Our auxiliary here is shall. That is rule one. Then now the negativity and the positivity is not followed. Therefore, you will come and say shan't. First of all, there is no, this we is now being redundant here. So you will transfer it and say shan't we. Shan't we? Meaning, shall we not? Shall we not? Then here, instead of don't she, do is plural, she is singular. You will come and change this one into singular, or you change she into a plural, which the plural form of she will have to be very many people, and we don't know. Therefore, you have to change this. You will say doesn't she. Then here also you'll put a tag, and here now weren't he, weren't is already plural, and here is singular. No more relationship. Therefore, change the auxiliary into singular to match with the singular form of the person. Therefore, it will be was, and the singular form of where is was. This case you will put a negative because were not. So wasn't he? And then here you will come and still change this one. This time you will not change the verb, you will change the form of the noun or the pronoun in this case. Now you will come here and get any singular pronoun or noun. You can come here and check some of this, but not tampering with these two. You will come and start from here. Then you will come and say, wasn't it? If at all you have decided to use it. Wasn't it? Right. See now, very simple. So long as you have mastered the rules, you will not suffer, my dear learners. So you should always be able to know the rules. And if the rule is not adhered to, you will be in critical problem. So with this, I believe you have got something very well now. God bless you and thank you so much. I don't want you to suffer when looking at question tags. Next time I'll come and teach you another topic. Bye-bye for today.